This video is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc. with free weekly content and free shipping on orders over $150. You can save 5% site-wide by using the promo code MTGMudsta. If you're looking for a direct way to help the channel, please consider joining my Patreon and becoming a member of the generic Goblin Gang. Hey gang, and welcome back. Today's game was filmed in my studio with Maxim, Marie, Seb, and Felix rejoining us. In today's game, Maxim is playing Faldorn, Dreadwolf Herald, and he keeps a Mossfire Valley, Wooded Foothills, Arcane Signet, Commune with Lava, Cultivate, Vandal Blast, and Rampant Growth. Marie has built up the Myrel Shield of Argive soldier-themed deck, and she keeps 2 Plains, Braid Steward of Argive, Intangible Virtue, Launch the Fleet, Sol Ring, and Brimaz. Felix is once more playing his Cadric deck, keeping Sol Ring, Mox Amber, Sneak Attack, 2 Plains, a Mountain, and Exotic Orchard. Seb is testing out his newly made Captain Ripley Vance deck, keeping a Valakut the Molten Pinnacle, Sword of Feast and Famine, Commander's Plate, Vandal Blast, Mountain, Dragon Mantle, and a Thought Vessel. Maxim wins the die roll and starts us off. He draws and plays an Evolving Wilds, sacrificing it to find a forest. Marie has a Plains and casts that sweet turn 1 Sol Ring. Never one to be done up, Felix draws, plays a Mountain, and casts a Sol Ring. He then 1-ups Marie with a Mox Amber and passes. Seb just draws and plays a tap Valakut. Maxim plays a Mossfire Valley and then pays 2 for Rampant Growth, going to find a Mountain and passing. Marie draws and plays a Plains. She then casts her commander, Myrel, and passes. Felix plays a Plains, and once more copying Marie, casts his commander with Cadric. Seb draws and plays a Mountain. He taps 2 for a Thought Vessel and passes. Max plays a Forest, and then casts an Arcane Signet. He follows that play with a Faldorn, and passes. Marie plays out a Daru Warchief in her main phase, and then goes to combat, swinging Myrel at Max for 4, and getting to make 2 soldier tokens. Max takes the hit, and after that, she passes. Felix draws and plays Exotic Orchard. He then casts Bruse Tarl and pays to make a copy with Cadric. The original gives Cadric double strike and lifelink, while the token gives itself double strike and lifelink, and Felix goes to attack. He swings Cadric at Marie and the Bruse Tarl hasty copy at Seb, and gets an on-attack trigger from Bruse Tarl's copy, and gives itself double strike and lifelink once more. Marie chumps with a soldier token, while Seb takes 6, with Felix gaining a bunch of life and jumping to 50. Seb draws, but is unfortunately missing his land drop. That doesn't stop him from casting Captain Ripley Vance though, and he passes after that. Maxim draws and plays a Carplusian Forest. Leaving his mana open, he passes after that. Marie draws, and like Seb, can't find a land. She has enough to cast a Herald's Horn, naming soldiers of course, and then plays a Guardian of New Benalia. Going to combat, she swings her commander at Max, and the soldiers and Warchief at Seb. Seb blocks the Warchief with Ripley to trade, and Max declares no blocks. They then take the damage they're supposed to, and after that, Marie makes some soldier tokens, and then passes turn. Felix draws and plays a Plains for turn. He then plays out Yosei the Morningstar, and pays the Cadric trigger to make a copy. Going to combat, he swings the Yosei copy at Max and the Bruse Tarl at Marie. He puts the Bruse Tarl trigger on Yosei, and Marie blocks Bruse with a soldier, and then takes 10 from Yosei, with Felix gaining 10. He then moves to his end step, sacrificing the Yosei copy and targeting Maxim with the trigger. Maxim responds by casting Commune with Lava, putting 4 into the X, and exiling his top 4 that he's able to play until the end of his next turn. With that, Felix passes. Seb draws but still can't find land number 3. He pays 3 mana in his main phase for a Blood Moon, and passes after that. Maxim doesn't untap, and draws. He plays a tap Myriad Landscape from exile, making a wolf token from Faldorn, which does actually enter untapped as a mountain thanks to Blood Moon. He's unable to cast anything though, and has to pass. Myrel draws and plays Launch the Fleet, targeting Myrel and the Guardian of Numinalia. Going to combat, she swings her commander at Max and the Guardian at Seb, and then enlists a soldier token to scry 2. The soldiers from Launch the Fleet come in attacking at Seb, and Maxim chumps Myrel with a wolf token. Myrel then makes some soldier tokens after that, and passes. Felix draws and plays a mountain. He then plays Cloud Shift on Yosei to flicker it, and as it comes in, pays for the Cadric trigger to make a copy. He then casts an Arcane Signet. Going to combat, he swings Bruce at Max and the Yosei copy at Myrel, giving the Yosei copy double strike and lifelink again from the Bruce Charl on attack trigger. Neither of them can block, so they each take the hit, with Felix gaining another 10. Moving to his end step, Felix sacrifices the Yosei clone and targets Myrel with a trigger, tapping 5 of her soldier tokens and forcing her to skip her untap step. Seb draws and still cannot find a land. He casts a Dragon Mantle into Max's Faldorn to get a draw, but still doesn't find one. To wrap things up, he then casts a Commander's Plate and passes. Maxim draws and activates Faldorn, exiling Eternal Witness. He then plays a Wooded Foothills as a mountain, and then follows up with a Wild Magic Sorcerer. He then plays out an Eternal Witness from exile, and cascades into a Dark Dweller Oracle. The Witness then enters, bringing back Max's Commune to Lava, and he gets to make 2 wolf tokens from Faldorn, seeing the spells from exile being cast. With nothing else, he passes. Myrel skips her untap step and draws. She finally finds a Plains, which she plays. Sadly, with her board tapped down, she can do nothing else but pass. Felix draws and casts a sneak attack in his main phase, but has no cards in hand to cheat out. He then continues his beats, swinging Bruce Tarl at Seb, and Yosei with the Bruce Tarl trigger at Myrel. They both take their hits, and Felix gains another 10 life before passing turn. Seb draws and finally finds a mountain. However, he plays it, but still has nothing else to do, and has to pass. Maxim draws and plays Escape to the Wilds. He exiles his top 5, and then plays 2 non-basics, which are actually mountains, making 2 wolf tokens from Faldorn. He then casts a Harrow, sacrificing a mountain, and cascades for 2. This has him hitting Sylvan Library, and he makes a total of 2 more wolf tokens, and then goes and finds 2 forests from the Harrow. Maxim then casts a Wild Growth onto the forest, from exile, and gets to make another wolf token. He then finishes off his Escape to the Wilds by casting an exiled Layla, and makes 1 final wolf token. Going to combat, he swings 2 wolves and Layla at Felix, and exiles his top card and gives her a +1/+1 counter. Felix blocks a wolf and takes the 5, and after that, Maxim passes. Myrel draws and plays Intangible Virtue. Her tokens are now big and have vigilance, and she follows that up with And They Shall Know No Fear, naming soldiers, giving them +1/+0 and indestructible. Going to combat, she swings all of her soldier tokens at Maxim, and her Guardian, and Myrel at Seb. Max dies to her army of 3/2 soldier tokens, and Seb takes the commander damage. With nothing else, Myrel passes, making more soldiers. Felix draws, and plays Lightning Greaves in his main phase, before equipping them onto Cadric. Going to combat, he swings Bruce Tarl at Seb and Yosei at Myrel, once more giving the dragon lifelink and double strike. They both take the hits, with Felix gaining another 10 and jumping to 85 life. He passes after that. Seb draws and plays a mountain. He recast Captain Ripley, but with nothing else, has to pass. Myrel draws and plays a plains. She casts an archetype of courage, and follows up with an unbreakable formation, giving all of her creatures indestructible and vigilance, and a +1/+1 counter. Myrel does the math, and is able to swing both lethal at Seb and Felix, who know when they're beat and die. Game review time. Considering there were 3 players in red, there wasn't a single blasphemous act or chain reaction to be seen, and that was kind of what allowed Myrel to steal the game. She did also have a lot of indestructible effects in her hand, which probably would have saved her, but still, they needed to get them out of her hands earlier than they did. It also didn't help that basically her army of soldier tokens kept doubling every time she attacked, and despite having very few land drops, the Herald's Horn and Soul Ring basically allowed her to cast most of her deck. Felix was really hurting for some draw spells in the late game, as he had sneak attack in hand for most of the game, but didn't really have any great creatures to use it with. And despite the fact that Bruce Tarl and Yosei were getting him tons of life, he couldn't do a whole heck of a lot after he used that Cloud Shift to get the second Yosei trigger. Seb unfortunately really got stuck behind with land drops. He had a bunch of good cards in hand and good equipments to put onto his commander, but unfortunately not enough mana to cast them and do the same. Plus losing his commander early on, and having to pay 2 more for his commander, really set him back. Maxim shows just how strong a Faldorn deck can be, and the value you get from casting exiled or cascaded spells is just incredible. I love Wild Magic Sorcerer, I love everything about this deck, so hopefully we get to see it again in the future. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, Cool Stuff Inc., Multizone, Original Magic Art, and Alter Sleeves. But it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.